Now we have a different type of problem. First, it's easy to see it. This is going to have the conjugate with the 5i. But now let's take a look at that 1/4. I'm going to work with it over here. If I put that into the parentheses, this is 1x minus 1/4 is equal to 0. And I add 1/4 and I get x equals 1/4. But I can take that 4 and put it up with the x. And now if that's equal to 0, that's going to do the same thing because I'd add 1 and then I divide by 4 and I get 1/4. So you can make it look two ways. I prefer it. Most of the time it's better to do it. Actually, we have to do is the 4x minus 1 because the rule of this is with integral coefficients. So we cannot have fractions or decimals for the coefficients at the end. All right, let's take a look at then what we do. This becomes x plus 2 and then 4x plus 1. It's x minus 1 and then it'll be the 4 in front. And then x plus 5i and the x minus 5i. So let's write that up and let's actually work these out. X plus 2, 4x minus 1, x plus 5i, x minus 5i. So I'm going to do these 2 by 2. I'll do this set first and then this set next. So what we get, f of x is equal to 4x squared, x times x, minus x, plus 8x minus 2. And the second one, x times x is x squared. But then I'm going to get a minus 5ix and a plus 5ix. So just know those will cancel. So minus 25x or 25i squared. Okay. What I actually did there for anyone to whom it was a little fast forward is I did this. X times x is x squared minus, 1 is minus, 1 is plus, this one's plus, minus 5ix, and then there I get plus 5ix, and then I get the last two minus 25i squared. This part here cancels out, so I could just immediately go here and then deal with the I squared because I squared equals -1. So what we really have is we have -25 times -1, which means that's a plus 25. So I'll rewrite this now. We're combining the like terms. Plus 7x here, minus 2. And then over here doing x squared, well, that's plus 25 now. Okay. So now I'm going to multiply this out. And I'm allowed to start with the 2 that are back here. So I can do this times this, and then this times this, and this times this. And then I'll do the 25 times that, and the 25 times that, and the 25 times that. Okay. So the f of x is equal to x squared, 4x to the 4th. X squared times 7x is plus 7x cubed. X squared times -2 is -2x squared. Then I'm going to do 25 times each of these. 25 times the 4 makes that plus 100x. 4 is 100x. 25 times 7 is plus, 8 would have been 200, so this would be 175x. 25 times -2 is -50. Okay, so now let me put these together. Let's combine the like terms and in the order of exponent. So we have negative. Okay. And I just realized that 125 times 4x squared, this should have had a square on it. Okay. And then we get the 175x and the -50. Okay, there. So 100 take away 2 is plus 98x squared plus the 175x minus the 50. And they're all in order. Okay. and plus 7x. Feel like should there be another negative in here on anything? And I don't think so. I think I got all the negatives right here. Okay, let's just double check. There was negative x here. It ended up multiplying that to there. That became a plus, so it's only the -2. And that means it's -2 times x squared and the -50. Okay, and I believe then that makes sense. This negative here will cancel out from it. All right. So now let's do another one. So this one showed us with the 1/4 and the -5i and +5i. Now here's an interesting one because we have two sets. We have -5i, which means we have to also include 5i. We have 4i, so we have to include -4i. So let's set up all four of them. So that's x plus 5i, changing the sign, then changing the next sign to make it -5i, and then x minus 4i, and x plus 4i, changing the signs for each. So I'm going to first do these, and then I'm going to do these. X times x is x squared, and now I'll go ahead and show -5x, 5ix plus +5ix. Okay, and then those middle terms will cancel out, plus I have -25i squared. X times x is x squared plus 4ix, and then -4i times it times x, ix. -4 times +0 is -16i squared. So then now these two cancel out, these two cancel out. X squared minus 25i squared, x squared minus 16i squared. Now remember that I squared is actually -1. And so that changes these to x squared plus 25 and x squared plus 16. And let's multiply those. X to the 4th plus 16x squared plus 25x squared plus 400. So it's going to be x, that's x to the 4th. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th plus 16x squared plus 25x squared plus 25 times 16 is 400. Let's put them in order, or actually combine like terms, because the two middle terms will add up to 41x squared plus 400. And that's as far as we need to go for making this into a polynomial function. Having just two zeros, we can make it an x to the 4th power because each zero has a conjugate. Okay, now let's look at these extra practice problems. Well, there's no i's in this one, so that means that the function of x is equal to opposite the 3, opposite the -11. And that's just a matter of multiplying these so that the function of x is equal to x squared plus 11x minus 3x minus 33. And we get a final answer here of x squared. 11 take away 3 makes that an 8x, and then minus the 33. Right, let me yellow that in. And then the next problem is one that has practice with the imaginary number here. So the big thing is that that also has a positive 10i with it. So we'll write the function with those three. Opposite the 9 is minus. Negative 10i, opposite is plus 10i. And then 10i, the opposite's minus 10i. Now by multiplying these first, I will get a simpler equation overall, because I'll get x times s is x squared minus 10ix plus 10ix. There we go. All that easier to see here. Minus 10ix plus 10ix. And then we get the minus 100i squared. So the function of x is equal to x minus 9. These cancel out. That's a minus 1, and that makes a plus. So x squared plus 100. So now we'll multiply the x times both of these, the negative 9 to both of these. That's x cubed plus 100x minus 9x squared minus 900. So we have an x cubed. Now let's put these in order. So the negative 9x squared has to come next. Then the plus 100x. And finally the negative 900. Okay, very good. That's a number of examples to make sure that you are comfortable with doing this. So let's go back to the beginning of it. 9 and negative 3 and make it x minus 9 and x plus 3 and multiply it. And here it's just with 3 of them. So it's just being careful because it's very easy to make mistakes with negatives with a whole bunch of things like this going on. And then here we have the first imaginary number. So if there's a negative I, then a positive I comes with it. And then we multiply it out and multiply the binomials first. That is much faster and easier. You don't have to, on one hand, you can get the same answer, but you make it a much bigger problem, longer problem than it needs to be. Here we had to include the negative 7i as well and then multiply it out. And now here, this one that's new is that a fraction of 1/4, like x minus 1/4, is in reality 4x minus 1. And the rest of it should make sense there. Finally, double i's, or rather two imaginary numbers. Each of them come with their own conjugate, so then we can multiply those out and get this problem. And then the last couple were practice ones, one without any of the imaginary numbers and one with an imaginary number, but done in the same way as all the others. And I hope that was helpful for learning these particular ones. And you will see them again, that's for sure. Thank you for watching and listening.